When you get yourself in a predicament where you resent someone that you care about, you have two choices. You can forgive them and let it go, or hold a grudge forever that will eventually create a strain in your relationships. Welcome back to episode 3 of Introspect. I'm your host, Genesis, and today the subject is resentment. We're going to do a little bit of self-reflection today. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just going off of what I learned over the years, but I hope this episode motivates you to work on those parts of yourself that need self-improvement. I plan on using this episode as a reminder to myself because it's very easy to talk the talk, but to actually do the work consistently is a different story. So maybe this can help you as well. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not the most healed person out here. I struggle mentally and I still have a lot of work to do on myself, but this is a step forward into that direction. Sometimes in life, people wrong you. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you hurt someone. As humans, it's gonna happen. We also don't instinctively forgive and then automatically just let it go. No, we're humans, so it hurts us and we hold on to it or allow it to create a wall that distances you and the person that hurt you, or sometimes even people that had nothing to do with it. We resent. We're so good at that. Sometimes we do it subconsciously. We said we forgave them, but then notice that you don't open up to them anymore. You don't reach out. When the opportunity is given, you throw shit in their face because it still hurts you. And no, they're not fully forgiven for what they did. No matter how much we say it's okay, I forgive you, deep down, we don't. Okay? It's easy to say I forgive you, but to actually let it go completely is a whole different story. But in reality, sometimes holding on to resentment actually ends up doing more damage to yourself than what that person did to you. Psychologically, it fucks you up. And I'll tell you why. You're holding on to that emotional toll. It's keeping you emotionally stuck in the past. You're replaying those hurtful experiences and feeding into negative feelings. And that has consequences. That can lead to bitterness, sadness, more pain. It affects your overall well being. And in the moment, you might not even realize that this is happening because it's a mental thing, but it is. And it's affecting your relationships. I think that one hurts me the most is when it affects my relationships because sometimes you want to be closer to someone, but that resentment that you hold on to can be so strong, keeps you from allowing yourself to open up. Not just that, but it can affect others too, unintentionally if you let it. They're not even the ones that caused it, but because we didn't do the inner healing work on ourselves, they're gonna get a taste of it. I know way too many people who hold resentment towards someone in their life, and I can physically see it with my own eyes, how it affects their relationships and their day-to-day lives. And listen, sometimes people do really fucked up shit that can be unforgivable. How do you forgive something like that? And I get it, trust me. But in the end, by not doing so, you're causing damage to yourself because you're letting it win. You're letting it consume you. Maybe you're the kind of person that's very affectionate, would deep down love to be closer to that person. Or in general, and the way you're acting towards them might be a little bit out of character for you because that resentment is so strong that it's holding you back. I get it though. Nah, fuck that. I don't give a fuck. They hurt me, they don't deserve me. That's fine. You can think that way all you want. But not only are you holding a grudge at that point, but you're also allowing it to consume you to the point where you're becoming the negative one. Your choice to be bitter is causing an even bigger strain on your relationship. Like, I'm not saying you have to completely forget about it. Because if you're holding on to resentment, it's probably for a reason and it's probably a good one. And yeah, it sucks. Anytime someone wrongs us, it sucks. And some people don't even deserve forgiveness, don't deserve for you to let it go. They don't deserve to make amends. But in that scenario, do it for yourself then. Do it for your own peace of mind. Do it so it doesn't continue to consume you. You're not living constantly in the past, hurting over and over again from it. Every single time you choose to resent someone, you're letting it affect you and who you are as a person. If you're the kind of person who loves to smile, you're friendly, gives hugs and reassurance, then when it comes to that one person, the walls are up. Now all of a sudden you're cold-hearted, you're nonchalant, it's hard for you to show them love. You can't even offer them a shoulder to cry on if they'd ask for it. Because remember all that shit you did to me when I was growing up? Remember that one time you weren't there for me when I needed you? But now you expect me to be there for you? I'm supposed to be what? Nice to you? Believe it or not? Yeah. I mean, if not for them, then for you. Because that's not who you are. You're kind. You're better than that. Be you. If you're kind, then be kind. Do not let your past keep reliving itself. Don't let someone else stop you from being who you really are. Not only did they cause you hurt, but now they're also taking over your life? No, 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 no. If you want to be happy and caring and love everyone, then do it. Let it go. Again, not for them, but for you. Listen, these examples that I'm giving, they're not necessarily mine, but I do have people in my life who I feel have wronged me. And I feel the resentment is valid, but sometimes being resentful makes you petty. It makes you angry. It makes you say shit like, I hate you so much, you're dead to me. I'll never look at you the same. I'll never forgive you. I don't want to live a life like that. Not only does it make you miserable, but that's not a healthy way to think or to live. You should live your life at peace and not holding back because of anyone, especially if that has been going on for years. Like I said, I get it. There's scenarios where it's so valid, but it's not worth it lasting your entire life and getting in the way of your personal growth, your mental and physical health. How many of you listening have seen it with your own eyes? Whether it's a family member, yourself, a friend, but you can literally see resentment pouring out of them in the way that they speak or talk or carry themselves. You can feel the negativity because they're still so hurt. And yeah, bro, that shit hurts. It hurts, but that's why we have to do the shadow work so that they're no longer holding that over you. Release those feelings. They're not yours to hold forever. Allow yourself the emotional freedom. Easier said than done, I know, but I'll help you. We can do it together. So if you're able to, grab a journal. And if you're not, then come back later if you can. We're going to do a little bit of journaling because it helps. We're going to start by identifying the root of the problem. So, what triggers you? What specific person, situation, or memories trigger the feelings of resentment? Once you do that, we acknowledge it. Instead of saying, it is what it is, I'm sad and I'm angry and that's just the way I am. No, we're gonna admit that we're holding on to resentment and do the work. Then ask ourselves a couple questions. Ask yourself, what am I resentful about and why? When did this feeling start? What expectations did I have that were unmet? And what role did I play in this dynamic? Now, that doesn't mean that you're blaming yourself, by the way. That's just recognizing patterns. Sometimes resentment comes from wounds that started in childhood. So we're going to do some inner child work. Visualize comforting your younger self. Sometimes resentment creates deeper beliefs, such as, I am not valued, I'm always taken for granted, people will disappoint me. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about this situation? Is this belief absolutely true? Where did I learn this belief? Childhood, past relationships, expectations I made? Be kind to yourself in this moment. You're on your own team. Resentment thrives when we avoid taking responsibility for our boundaries or unspoken needs. So consider asking yourself, did I clearly express my needs or did I expect others to read my mind? Am I holding on to this resentment because it gives me a sense of control? Consider the other person's limitations too, not as an excuse, but for context. what might have shaped their behavior. It's not to excuse them by any means, but sometimes you can understand a little deeper why the person did what they did, whether it's how they were raised, stuff they've gone through, or whatever the case may be. But looking a little deeper helps soften the feelings. Sometimes even screaming into a pillow helps, or crying. It releases the stuck energy in you. Remember, healing takes time. It's not linear. It's not going to happen overnight either. And you got to do it continuously and consistently. Also, don't forget that although it sucks to have to basically rewire your entire brain and go through all of this process, mind you, because of someone else's actions, you're doing this because you love yourself enough. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to live a healthy, resentment-free life. Do it for you. Do it for your kids or future kids. Do it so that you don't pass down resentment. Do it so that they no longer hold that power over you. Do it so that they no longer cause you to crash out. I believe in you and you're doing great. So keep it up. Be yourself. Be happy. Don't let things that were out of your control affect you for the rest of your life. You do not deserve that. I hope this episode helps you. And if you happen to be the one that caused the hurting, forgive yourself as well. Don't live a life resenting your own self. Take accountability for your mistakes and do better. Be kinder. Do the inner work so that you don't keep hurting people. Don't make excuses for yourself. With that, I'm going to wrap up the show. Until next time, take care.